Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi. This coming Shabbat, we read Parshat Vayikra, the very first Torah portion in the third book of the Torah, Vayikra, or the book of Leviticus. The Parsha begins by telling us, Vayikra el Moshe vaydeber Hashem elav me'ohel moed lemor. God called out to Moses, speaking to him from the Ohel Moed, or the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, which was the mobile place of worship for the Israelites while they were wandering in the desert. Rashi explains that this text and this sentence implies that when God called out to Moses, that Moses was the only one who is able to hear the words of God, despite the fact that the Ohel Moed, that the tent of meeting or the tabernacle, was surrounded by the Israelites. When I think of this particular interpretation, it reminds me of the type of relationship that Moses had with God. A relationship in which the two were able to engage with one another in a most real way. It reminds me actually of the type of relationship that we all want to have, not only with God, but with our family members and with our friends. That we are able to engage with one another, that only we hear each other in essence. That we are able to not only hear in a literal way, but we're able to truly understand what the other is saying. In this time of physical distancing, in this time of COVID-19, when we are kept apart from one another in a physical way, we want to make sure that we are also not socially distanced as well. That we do everything that we can to be in the presence, the social presence of the other, of our family members, and of our friends. And while we are listening to our friends, maybe over the computer, on the telephone, or if we're lucky enough to have a social contact with our family members, it is so important, especially at this time, that we truly hear the voice of the other. Passover, Pesach, is coming up. This is a time in which we traditionally gather together. And now, according to the rules of our province, we're at least able to bring 10 of our family members or closest friends together in our backyards, but nonetheless, or outside somewhere in a park, but nonetheless together in a physical way, so that hopefully maybe we can be able to celebrate a Seder together or a Passover together in a special way, listening to one another. I want to encourage you to remember the importance of our social connections. And also, while talking about Passover, I want to encourage you to join us at Congregation Beth Israel for one of our 2 online Sedarim on the 27th of March, the first night of Passover, either for a special Seder for youth and young families, or for our Seder for adults, in which we can help you with your family, and you, maybe even as an individual, celebrate Passover together with your Beth Israel family. Shabbat Shalom, and an early Chag Sameach.